If you were to look back on your life, what would you remember? The corner office? Your regular table at the cigar lounge, perhaps? Would you remember what your signature was worth? What would you remember? Those were some strong questions that Tata threw at us in the last decade. And their answer was the brand's then flagship, the Safari. An SUV so iconic, a vehicle so ahead of its time. It was first launched in '98 and sold until 2019 with one major overhaul that it received. Yet it retained that original silhouette of the Safari. But you would realize that towards the end of its cycle, it didn't sell in very good numbers, and that is because there was fundamentally something wrong with the Safari. Dig deeper and you'd realize that although Tata had packed the Safari with good off-road capabilities, it was never supposed to be a true-blooded off-roader. It was designed for the road, it was designed to be majestic, it was designed to be big, and it was designed to be their flagship. Did it have the features? Nope, it lacked the looks, it lacked the features, and it lacked things like a good music system and plushness and opulence that you would expect from a flagship. Or should I say, used to lack those things, because what we have here is possibly one of the biggest launches of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vipul, this is Top Gear Mag India, but more importantly, say hello to the all-new Safari. Now the front looks very identical to the Harrier, and that is because it wears the brand's Impact 2.0 design language. The differentiating bit is of course this grille, which has these chrome tri-arrow design inserts. That's all the difference you would spot on the front. This particular shade is exclusive to the Safari, and combined with the contrasting chrome bits, it looks very upmarket. Now moving to the side, the wheelbase remains exactly the same as the Harrier, but there is that addition of 63mm of length that has been added to the rear to accommodate that third row of seats. Then the wheels have been upped to 18 inches, gives it a more premium feel, adds to the dynamism of the Safari. The roof, you notice the step-up roof, very iconic of what the original Safari had. Also added to the Safari are those roof rails. Now one with the sunroof models are only for show. The ones on the models without the sunroof are completely functional and they can carry up to 130 kilos of load. While the width remains identical to the Harrier, the Safari is now 80mm taller. You'll also notice those prominent and bulging wheel arches that give it a very butch stance. Moving to the rear, there's a flat tailgate, of course the Safari badging spread out across centrally, those new twin-strip LED taillights to differentiate it from the Harrier, and a boot. Notice a non-power tailgate that can accommodate a few bags when all three rows are up, but expands to 447 litres with the third row down, at a massive 910 litres with the second and third row down. Now step inside the Safari and the first thing that you would notice is this cabin feels more premium and rich than what you would find on the Harrier, and that is primarily because of the interiors that wear this oyster white upholstery, and adding to that effect is this dashboard that features this trim finish in ashwood. It all looks very appealing. The layout remains similar to what you would find on the Harrier, with this 8.8-inch infotainment system taking the center stage. Now you do sit quite nice and high, there is a good view all around you, but it is not as commanding or as towering as the original Safari used to be. One good addition that Tata has made is given an e-handbrake, and they've gotten rid of that aircraft styled handbrake, for good of course. Lots of features on offer. A sweet sounding 320 watt JBL sound system, Aira Smart Suite that can also receive over-the-air updates, mood lighting, 7-inch TFT display. Safety features are plenty on a Tata, and this one comes with 6 airbags, ABS with EBD, ESP, hill hold, hill descent and ISOFIX mounts as well. Now moving to the second and the third row of the Safari, this is where a lot of things have changed. I'm sat in a 6-seater configuration which gets these captain seats. You can also have the 7-seater which gets a single bench for the second row. Now it is a little bit of a step up into the cabin, but once you're in here, it is quite an airy place to be in. That is partly down to this white interiors and also this large and wide panoramic sunroof. I'm also treated by 2 USB ports, a small slot to put my knickknacks in, a dedicated place on the door card to put my phone, and AC vents that are pillar mounted. What is also a very good addition is this Boss mode. With the press of a lever, I can give my legs some more space to stretch. And once I do that, there is quite a lot of space in here. Under thigh support could have been better, but it's not that bad. The seats for themselves are quite comforting, the cushioning is adequate, and I wouldn't mind spending long hours in here. Now I am sat in the third row of the Safari, and this is what a lot of you want to know. Is it any good? One word answer, yes it is. It is very usable. I am just over 6 feet tall, and it's not the most comfortable place, but I mean, the seat comfort is adequate, under thigh support is missing largely, but I have enough space for my knees. This seat is set to my preference. Also, I've got space under the seat in front to slide my feet in. I can be comfortable here even for longer journeys if I really have to. I'm treated with good features as well. For instance, these dedicated air vents, 2 USB chargers, cup holders on both sides, a blower speed control, and places to put my knickknacks in. The best addition though has to be this adjustable rear headrest. I can actually make myself here quite comfortable and enjoy the ride. So, good job Tata, you've actually nailed this pretty well. The driving dynamics has been a highlight of that Omega Arc platform, that Land Rover derived D8 platform, and well, I'm happy to report that it's being carried forward to the Safari as well. And that added height and weight is all contained rather well. Yes, you do feel it, that extra weight, that extra height, there is, that extra bit of body roll, but it's not too bad, and it drives pretty confident out on the highway. Now, while the driving dynamics are totally spot on, the feedback from the steering is rather questionable. It's a bit too heavy for city usage. Of course, it is a big car, but they could have lightened it a little bit. But on the contrary, it's a little too light for usage out on the highway. It does not add up that weight as well as how other Tatas do, and that is something really strange that I found with this steering setup. But what you do get is that good visibility out from the windscreen, out from the windows. You're sat quite high. This is a very good driving position, and what aids to get into a sweeter spot is that electronic driver seat. You can really set yourself in, sit yourself a little low, and this feels rather enjoyable for the size that it is. And boosting your confidence further are 4 disc brakes. That's right, with the Safari you now get discs on the rear as well. Again, a very good addition, but that brake pedal, it's very spongy. The feedback is very inconsistent, and the addition, you have the hardware addition, but you don't have a good feedback given to your feet. So again, that is a very big question. Now, it's not a deal breaker, but they aren't as good as the rest of the package, and that is one nail that sticks out. But otherwise, it's a fun car to drive, and I'm surprised that I'm saying it, for a car this big, for a car like this, it's a big family SUV. It's a 7-seater SUV, but since that body roll is quite controlled and that engine is quite responsive, you can have some good fun with your drive in the back. A 7-seater SUV should feel like this: big, prestigious, loaded with features, and good value for money proposition. Now, the MG Hector Plus does have a lot of those things, but it just doesn't offer you this driving experience. They both share the same 2-liter Fiat-sourced diesel engine, the 4-cylinder engine, and the power figures are quite identical as well. On this, you get 165 bhp and 350 Nm of torque with 2 transmission options. But this just feels so much more tractable, and that is something that a lot of customers will enjoy. The engine, although it packs good punchy response with a wide range of usable power, it isn't as refined as Jeep's version that is used in the Compass. Also, NVH levels are a step up, but you still hear the engine within the cabin, more so prominently when the revs are high. I would have liked better sound insulation, especially on a brand's flagship. Now, another benefit that the Safari has over the Hector Plus is that the Hector, although has the same engine option, it only gets a manual transmission option with the diesel unit. This one gets a 6-speed manual and also a 6-speed automatic transmission that is sourced from Hyundai. I've driven both back to back today, and while the manual is definitely good, it's the automatic that you should be opting for. It just offers that much more convenience and ease while you're driving out there. The manual that I'm driving currently, the clutch travel is a little too excessive, and the gates are not that well defined. The throws are a bit long, but yes, it is a huge step forward from what we've seen on earlier Tatas. This one feels quite light, but the automatic is something that you should definitely look into. Now what this Safari does get is driving modes. There are 3 driving modes on offer, but instead of this knob, what I would have loved and appreciated is a 4-wheel drive selector. That's right, this new Safari does not get that off-road capability of the original, and I think that is the biggest flaw with this new iteration. But having said that, according to Tata Motors, not a lot of customers are able to extract that 4-wheel drive capability. Not a lot of customers indulge in off-road adventures. So they do have a valid point. They are offering what the current customers are looking for. I guess they've done their market research all right, but us auto journos are certainly going to complain because we knew what the Safari is capable of and we wanted the new one to be even better. The Safari is equipped with a strong engine, good ground clearance, chunky tires, all of which contribute to a confident drive on broken sections. And no, this isn't a baseless claim. I found myself driving it extensively on loose gravel and it felt confident. In fact, it was fun carrying some unrevving speeds on such sections, but the driving modes kept the dynamics in check. Yep, what you see on the screen would partially remind you of the OG Safari, and I don't think it could drive this fast or this confidently on such roads. The Harrier has built a reputation around good ride and cabin comfort, and this one is no different. It's largely down to the highly capable Land Rover derived D8 platform, and it's built on the monocoque chassis and hence comes with its own benefits. The front benefits from independent suspension, while the rear makes use of semi-independent twist blades and coil springs. The suspension irons out bad surfaces like a boss. The cabin remains fairly settled at all times. Comfort in the rear seat is not as abundant as your corporate sedans, but what you're offered with is space, roominess, a good view out of those large windows, good visibility wherever you can point. Even behind, the third row passenger won't feel too left out. It was a great day, it was a fun day rather, with the all-new Safari, and it's now time for our verdict. I'll put it straight and I'll put it honest. This isn't as legendary or as capable as the earlier Safari. Yes, it's not easy to steal that status from the earlier vehicle. But having said that, this is quite a capable machine. Tata has brought a very good proposition to the table. 7 seats on offer, captain seats, it's their new flagship product and it feels like one. You would buy the earlier Safari for its indestructible feeling and that road presence, and I repeat, road presence. This one, in the current times, offers that as well. Experiences that we have with our cars have changed. Customers are now looking for things like connected technology, comforting interiors, a long list of creature comforts, things like a large panoramic sunroof. That is where the original Safari lacked. That is what it could not offer to the customers of the current times. And that is exactly where this new one picks up. Alright, the older one came with that indestructible 4x4 technology. This one doesn't, but that was built to tame the wild. This one is a warrior for the urban jungle. And trust me, there is a lot of wilderness in the city. Let me know what do you think of the new Safari in the comments below. Also, subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon so that you're notified for the next update. Until next time, drive safe.